What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we need to talk. So President Trump, I'm sure you guys have seen a couple of hours ago, he released a video. If you have not seen that video, you're going to watch it right now because I'm going to show it to you. But he is not comfortable with this relief package. And so there's good and there's bad in this whole situation. And we're going to talk about both of them. And then we're also going to take a look at my prediction. So 5 days ago, I put out a video. I'm going to show you a small clip of that video where I talked about this exactly happening. And so we'll take a look at that. Nancy Pelosi has responded to this whole situation. And if you guys didn't know, the president wants $2,000. He wants a $2,000 stimulus check. And he has not said that he's going to veto this bill, but he is not happy with the bill. So we don't know what that means. Is he just not going to sign it? We'll talk about some of the strategies that might come into play when it comes down to it. But before we show the video, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit the like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit that little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. Okay, so we have President Trump. Let's go ahead and hear him first, and then we'll talk about it on the other side. Here we go.
It's called the COVID relief bill, but it has almost nothing to do with COVID. This bill contains $85.5 million for assistance to Cambodia, $134 million to Burma, $1.3 billion for Egypt and the Egyptian military, which will go out and buy almost exclusively Russian military equipment, $25 million for democracy and gender programs in Pakistan, $505 million to Belize, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Panama. $40 million for the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C., which is not even open for business. $1 billion for the Smithsonian, and an additional $154 million for the National Gallery of Art. Likewise, these facilities are essentially not open. $7 million for reef fish management, $25 million to combat Asian carp, $2.5 million to count the number of amberjack fish in the Gulf of Mexico, a provision to promote the breeding of fish in federal hatcheries, $3 million in poultry production technology, $2 million to research the impact of down trees, $566 million for construction projects at the FBI. The bill also allows stimulus checks for the family members of illegal aliens, allowing them to get up to $1,800 each. This is far more than the Americans are given. Despite all of this wasteful spending and much more, the $900 billion package provides hardworking taxpayers with only $600 each in relief payments. And not enough money is given to small businesses, and in particular restaurants, whose owners have suffered so grievously. They were only given a deduction for others to use in business their restaurant for 2 years. This 2-year period must be withdrawn, which will allow the owners to obtain financing and get their restaurants back in condition. Congress can terminate it at a much later date, but 2 years is not acceptable. It's not enough. Congress found plenty of money for foreign countries, lobbyists, and special interests, while sending the bare minimum to the American people who need it. It wasn't their fault. It was China's fault, not their fault. I am asking Congress to amend this bill and increase the ridiculously low $600 to $2,000 or $4,000 for a couple. I'm also asking Congress to immediately get rid of the wasteful and unnecessary items from this legislation and to send me a suitable bill, or else the next administration will have to deliver a COVID relief package, and maybe that administration will be me, and we will get it done.
All right, so there's the president. Now let's break this down a little bit. He said a few things. We'll go over a couple of things he talked about. He talked about the undocumented. So he's saying that their families will get checks. Well, yeah, their families will get checks because they're Americans. So basically, the situation that he was referring to is a situation where, let's say you're married to someone who is not documented or married to someone who is not a citizen. They don't have a social security card or social security number. But you have, let's say you're married to them, you have 2 children. Those children were born in this country. They're American citizens. So out of the 4 of you, 3 checks would go out, $1,800. But the person who is not documented, the person who doesn't have a social security number, they will not receive a check. So yes, family members will, but they won't. Because in the CARES Act, basically, if you were married to someone who did not have a social security number, no one got a check. And so that seems a little unfair. You're an American citizen, but you don't get a check because you're married to someone who does not have a social security number. So that's what he was talking about that's what he was alluding to. So I will agree with one thing that Trump did say, talking about money going to other countries. Right now, money should not be going to other countries. We should be focused on America. We should be focusing on our citizens. And you can't tell me that we don't have the money if we're spending billions of dollars in other countries. We're struggling to get a $600 stimulus check when billions of dollars are going outside of the U.S. It makes no sense. Billions of taxpayer dollars. Okay, let's get that straight. Taxpayer dollars, your money is going to other countries during a pandemic while we're in this crisis and people are on the street homeless and starving and all this. So that point, yes. But the only thing is President Trump was combining the two together. So you have the spending bill and then you have the relief bill. And they just put them together. But they have different focuses, right? One is to fund the government for the next year. The other is the COVID relief. So I just wanted to make that clear. But very, very interesting. President Trump gets out there. He talks about this. Now let's get to my video. Okay, so I predicted this 5 days ago. And I'm going to show you the clip and then we'll come back to it. Watch the full video, though. I will post a link so you can watch the full video. It'll be in the description and in the comment section. I'll have the link as well. Watch the whole video because there's more context to it. But I just thought it was interesting. President Trump, I predicted this. So let's take a look. Now, what I find interesting about this whole story is President Trump is going to see this. President Trump doesn't like this to look weak. We know that. And so guess what? We might get a response for President Trump. We might get that tweet that says, I want bigger than what this $600 is. I want $2,000 stimulus checks. We might see that tomorrow. Because President Trump does not like to look weak, and he looks weak in this situation. It looks like the aides took over and said, talked him out of it. He doesn't want to look like that. And so we might see a tweet. So stand by, that might be coming. All right, so that was 5 days ago. And lo and behold, President Trump is on television telling us, hey, we want $2,000. Because he sees it as it's going to make him look good, which it probably will. If it actually gets done, it will make him look good on his way out. And if he does have some aspirations of running in 2024, remember me, I'm the one that got you the $2,000 stimulus checks instead of the $600 that Congress wanted at the time and all this. But we need to talk about where this is going to go from here. Because the president hasn't said he's going to veto it. He just said he's not happy with it. So if he does nothing, which he has 10 days, he has 10 days as far as a pocket veto would go. He has 10 days to make a decision if he wants to sign it or not. Now, if he does not sign it, it automatically becomes law. But then we're up against a time frame here because those 10 days might end the year. So if they end the year, now you have new Congress coming in. So that bill will actually have to be redone if that's the case. So there's a lot of different factors that are playing out. We also have the continued resolution that was for 7 days. So they did a continued resolution yesterday. That gives them 7 days. So that means if President Trump doesn't sign this bill in a week, government shutdown. So all in all, Congress is going to be really upset with this because now they're going to have to come back and deal with this whole situation. Everyone except Nancy Pelosi. And let's take a look what Nancy Pelosi said. So Speaker Pelosi says, Republicans repeatedly refused to say what amount the president wanted for direct checks. At last, the president has agreed to $2,000. Democrats are ready to bring this to the floor this week by unanimous consent. Let's do it. So you see, Nancy Pelosi is pretty excited. She's ready to go. Let's do this. And I mean, this is a situation where she was asking for $1,200 initially. And now it looks like 2,000 is the new number. And so where do you go from here? What is I can't wait to see what Mitch McConnell says about this. So we'll have to see where all this goes. Now let's talk a little bit about the bad news. So the bad news here is we're not going to see stimulus checks next week. If nothing gets resolved in the next couple of days, we will not see a stimulus check next week because the president, he hasn't signed it. And if he doesn't sign it, it's not going to go anywhere. The only thing that they can do at this point, and Mitch McConnell might have to fall on his sword here and say, you know what? We have to bump it up to 2,000. You're going to get the Democrats to support it. Now, you are going to have some Republicans that aren't going to support it, but that's just the way it is. Now that the president is saying 2,000, you are going to have some Republicans that are not going to want to upset the president. And so they might say, yeah, you know what? Just go with it. So I think the bottom line is the president wants this $2,000 stimulus check. That's what he's really focused on. As far as the money going to other countries, yes, he brought that up, but I think he is focused on that $2,000 stimulus check because he knows that's what's going to make him look good in the end. So we're going to have to follow it. We'll have to see where it goes. But as of right now, do not anticipate a stimulus check next week because it's just not going to happen until this is resolved. So I want to know what you guys think. So in the comments section, let me know. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.